All right. Preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. The House of Representatives shall be composed by members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. And the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for the electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included in this union according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least one representative. And until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and shall have the sole power of impeachment. The Senate shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately after, they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, and they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the second year, of the second class at the expiration of the 4th year, and of the third class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every second year. And if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive authority may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature to fill such vacancies. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. The vice president shall be president of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a president pro tempore in absence of the vice president, or when he shall exercise the office of president of the United States. When sitting for that purpose, the Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside. And no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgments in cases of impeachment shall extend no further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold or enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the convicted party shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and a punishment according to law. The times, places, and manner of holding elections shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Senate But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulation, except as to the places of choosing senators. The Congress shall meet at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. But a smaller number may adjourn from day to day, and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts as may in their judgment require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of either house on any question, of the members of either house on any question, shall, at the desire of 1/5 of the members present, be entered on the journal. And neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to a place other than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. The senators and representatives shall be compensated by their services, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of peace, be privileged from arrest during the attendance of the session at their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same. And for any speech or debate, they shall not be questioned. And for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof, which shall have been increased during such time. No person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be no person holding an office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. This is Article 1, Section 8, by the way. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on any other bill. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it. But if not, he shall return it with his objections to that house in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that house shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with objections to the other house, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered. And if approved by 2/3 of that house, it shall become a law. But the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the President within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, in like manner, the same shall be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress, by their adjournment, prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives according to the rules and limitations in the case of a bill. Actually, this is Article 1, Section 8 now. The Congress shall have power to lay taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes, to establish an uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and fix the standard of weights, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and to fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive rights to their respective writings and discoveries, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies committed on the high seas and felonies against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules and regulations for the government of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia, to execute the laws of the Union, repel invasions, and suppress insurrections, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia according to the discipline, and for governing such parts of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 square miles, as may, by secession of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of the government of the United States, to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make all rules, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying forth into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States, and any department or officer thereof. Article 1, Section 9. The immigration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited prior to the year 1808, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in case of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless when in proportion to the census or the enumeration herein before directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. No preference shall be given by any means of revenue or commerce to the ports of one state over those of another. Nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of all public money shall be published from time to time. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, except of any present office or emolument or title of any kind whatsoever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, declare war, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in the payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing ex post facto or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any impost or duty on imports or exports except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws. And the net produce of all duties and imposts laid on imports and exports from any state shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States. And all such laws shall be subject to the revision and the control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. Article 2 of the Constitution. The executive power of the United States shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled to in the Congress. But no senator or representative or person holding any office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed in electors. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not lie an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign, certify, and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if there should be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose from them by ballot one of them for president. Shall immediately choose one of them by ballot for president. I need to work on the wording of that. And if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the president. But in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by state, the representation from each state having 1 vote. And a quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states. And a majority of all the states shall be required to a choice. In every case, I need to work on that. In every case, after the choice of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes of electors shall be the vice president. But if there should remain 2 or more who have an equal number of votes, then the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the vice president. The Congress may at any time determine the place on which they shall give their vote. The Congress may at any time, I'm going to just rush through this and get it perfect later. The Congress shall at any time determine the time of choosing electors and the day on which they shall give their vote. No person shall be eligible to the office of and no person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of the President. Neither shall any person be eligible who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident of the United States. And in the case of the removal of the President from office, or of his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the Vice President. And the Congress may, by law, provide for the case both of the President, the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the President and Vice President, by declaring what officer shall act as President, and then such officer shall act accordingly, until the disability be removed or a President shall be elected. The President shall receive a compensation for his services to be ascertained by law, the President shall receive a compensation for his services, which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the time for which he was elected. And he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The President of the United States shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and the militia of the several states when called into actual service of the United States. He may require the opinion in writing of the principal officers in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to their respective duties. And he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses committed against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. He shall have power, and by and with the counsel of the Senate, to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. And he shall nominate, and by and with the advice and counsel of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and councils, and judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointment are not otherwise herein provided for, and which shall be established by law. The Congress may vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they shall think proper in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. The President shall have power to fill vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session. He shall from time to time give to the Congress information on the state of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he may judge necessary and expedient. And he shall on extraordinary occasions convene both houses or either of them, and in a case of disagreement between them. And with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such a time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all officers of the United States. He shall the President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes. The judicial power of the United States, this is Article 3, the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and such inferior courts as the Congress from time to time may ordain and establish. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their office during time of good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. The judicial powers shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. To all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and councils. To all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. To controversies to which the United States shall be a party. To controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of the same state, between citizens of different state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizens thereof and foreign states, citizens, or subjects. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and councils, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In all other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as to law and fact, with such exceptions and under such regulations as the Congress shall make. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury. And the trial of said crimes shall be in the place, and the trial shall be in the place or places where the said crimes shall have been committed. I need to work on that. But when not committed in any state, the trial shall be at the place or places as the Congress may by law have directed. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two or more persons to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. But the Congress shall have the power to determine the punishment of treason. But no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood, except during the life of the person attainted, or forfeiture, except during the life of the person attainted. Full faith and credit shall be given to the public acts, recordings, and proceedings of every other state. And the Congress may prescribe by general laws the manner in which such recordings, acts, and proceedings shall be proved. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of the citizens of the several states. A person tried in any state with treason, felony, or other crime, who shall flee from justice and be found in another state, shall, on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled, shall be delivered up to be returned to the state having jurisdiction of the crime. No person held to service and labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall in consequence of any law or regulation therein be discharged from such service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom the service or labor may be due. New states may be admitted into this union. New states may be admitted into this union by the Congress, but no new states shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor shall any state be formed by the junction of two or more states without the consent of the legislature of the states concerned, as well as of the Congress. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States. And nothing in this Constitution shall be so construed as to prejudice any claim of the United States or any of them, of any particular of the United States or of any particular state. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and protect them against invasion, or on application of the legislature or the executive when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or on application of the legislature of the 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which in either case shall be as valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions of 3/4 thereof, as one mode or the other of ratification may be proposed by the Congress. No amendments which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner, provided no amendments which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and fourth clause in the ninth section of the first article, and that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its suffrage in the Senate. All debts contracted and engagements entered into prior to the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. This Constitution and the laws made in which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in each state shall be bound thereby. Nothing in the Constitution or the laws of any state notwithstanding. The senators and representatives before mentioned and members of the several state legislatures and all executives and officers, both of the United States and the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to hold any office of trust or profit under the United States. The ratification of the Convention of 9 states shall, oh my God, I'm in the last two sentences here. The ratification of the Convention of 9 states shall the ratification of the Convention of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states so ratifying the same, done in convention by unanimous consent. On the 7th day of September, by the unanimous consent of the states present, on the 17th day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1787, and of the United States and the independence of the United States of America, the 12th. Booyah, baby! Boom, 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 boom.